We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Everybody, welcome to episode 670 of the New York Knicks podcast. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So are the Knicks. The Knicks are now, we're right into All-Star break. The Knicks are now 36-18. This is the first time they have won 36 games within over a 54-game span since what season, Jay?
Since 1973, best start since the 96-97 season. I don't know. They have some. It's the best start since 96-97, but they have some other weird thing where it's like the most wins before the All-Star break since the 73 season. So take whichever stat you want, but they're both awesome.
Yeah, both are awesome. The year in 12-13, the year the Knicks won 54 games, they were 32-22 through, which is also crazy that they had made a huge run post those 54 games. But I think they had a long winning streak towards the end of the season. But the Knicks are looking great.
They are, and they're getting reinforcements pretty much right after All-Star break. Finally, the long-awaited.
You heard the announcement.
The long-awaited Mitch return.
No, they announced T.J. Warren.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. But I know he's coming on February 28th. The Knicks cannot sign him until February 28th because of salary cap stupidness. But he is lighting things up in Westchester. It is almost guaranteed that they have some deal worked out with him already, or else he would have been snatched up by another team. He's clearly going to be a Knick as of February 28th, right?
Yeah, so they're going to probably have TJ, and then they'll have OG and Mitch back. So
yes,
we'll get a good look at this team like at full strength for the first time all season. They're 36-18 like they are now with full force. I think they could go on a even bigger run in the second. We say second half, the last like 30 games.
Last 30 games. Yeah, Knicks are looking awesome. When is Mitch coming back?
Well, he's now like ramping up. So whenever he's cleared for everything now.
He's cleared for everything?
Yeah.
Everything? He's clear. Is he cleared for winning a title, Jay?
He's cleared for that. So,
okay.
Yeah, however long it takes him to ramp up, which there's 8 days between games now, so it's a good amount of time. I'm thinking around February 28th. We'll
like
see
2
Mitch.
weeks or so. And OG is supposed to be back towards the end of the month also?
Yep.
That'd be nice to have a full-strength team. That'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, when I saw OG go down with that non-contact injury, I was like, well, that was a fun run. We'll try again next season. But luckily it was just a mild foot sprain, so it looks like he'll be back soon.
Yeah, and the Knicks are playing pretty well without him. Obviously, we need him back desperately, but not that desperately that we can't wait. Since the last show, the Knicks had a crazy 149-148 victory against the Hawks last night. They beat the Pacers the night before, and they lost to the Celtics on Saturday night in a nationally televised game.
That one was.
Where do you want to start, Jack?
I mean, that one was pretty brutal. They were missing KP and Holiday. The Knicks were missing OG and Mitch. There's some off nights. They don't match up. It's not a great matchup for the Knicks, but especially shorthanded. I do think the matchup.
If we could not match up against the Celtics anymore, that'd be helpful.
Well, I mean, it looks like that's what the second round's going to be. I do think the matchup looks different with Mitch, though.
I agree. Well, in fairness, so the first time they played, the Celtics just blew out the Knicks. Fine. This game, the game got real, and again, the Knicks just bottomed out and they lost by like 27 points, so whatever. But somewhere in the late third quarter, the Knicks almost had the score even. And then the refs kind of gave the Celtics 6 free throws, and the game and the Knicks just bottomed out after that. There were 2 very, very questionable fouls and 3-point plays, which I guess in the rule of technicalities, maybe the Knicks really fouled those guys. But come on. The plays were so they barely touched the Celtics on both plays. And you're calling fouls on this. Guys goes to the line for 3 throws. This is what's wrong with the NBA. You have to be allowed to guard the 3-point shooter. You can't call a very, very minor touch foul as a foul on a 3-point shot. It ruins the game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with one of those two fouls.
I don't. Which one do you agree with, Jay?
The one where he touched Tatum on the elbow.
He barely touched Tatum on the elbow.
Yeah, but if you touch
it did not
an elbow
affect
while you're shooting,
if you touch a player on the elbow inside the arc, most of the time it's not a foul.
well, it should be. I mean, he did airball the 3. I can't believe you got me defending Tatum, but like,
No, he touched him after the ball left his hands.
did he?
Yes.
Then I retract my statement, and it was
Okay, I had to look the replay to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that happened. The way I saw it, he barely. First of all, in fairness, if you watch a Knicks game with me, and you should know this, that nothing on no call on the Knicks is an actual foul. It's bullshit every call. But this is realistically, they barely touched them.
I do think if you make, I agree with the landing area stuff, but if you make marginal contact with, I don't know, somebody's hair or like a jersey.
Isn't marginal contact what they say when they don't call a foul for the Knicks?
Yes, it's a term just used for the Knicks, but
It's just the Knicks.
I do think that they should allow it if it doesn't affect the shot and you're not in the landing area.
Yeah, I think any very, very minor contact, like let's say you happen to rub someone's head, like you kind of just comb their hair basically with your hand, like Josh Hart did against Houston. That shouldn't be a foul.
I agree. So anyway, the Celtics game was like, I know some people are freaking out and they're fire Tibbs and they should have made a trade at the deadline. I don't take bad losses that seriously. They're not 30 points worse than the Celtics. It was just the Lakers lost by 20 last night against the Jazz. Are Lakers fans now saying like, oh, this team stinks, we should fire the coach? And
in fairness, Nico Harrison had one good night. He's like, I'm missing all my big men. I'm missing Anthony Davis. Doesn't matter. I beat Golden State. And look, the Lakers lost to the Jazz.
yeah,
I mean, he'll be employed for maybe 18 more months, but like he had one good night.
yeah. So I mean, there's off nights. Like good teams lose to bad teams. Good teams lose to good teams. It's just you can't take one loss too hard. By the way, speaking, the Knicks are playing the Cavs 3 times after the break.
Holy crap.
All 3 times are on the second night of a back-to-back.
That's a lot.
That's not really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like in fairness, the league scheduled this before they knew the Cavs would be this good.
I mean, they knew they would be good. They couldn't have thrown in like a Charlotte on the second night, I mean, the Cavs were going to be a top 4 team in the East.
Yeah, I don't think this is that thought out that they would like. I think, whatever.
Well, they clearly don't think. Remember last season, the Knicks had like 17 back-to-backs last season.
Yeah, you're a little low, by the way, your volume.
Am I?
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to hear you.
Okay. We'll try that. Is that any better?
That's a little better.
Okay, good.
Maybe I'm a little deaf. But I think going into the season, were you really sure Cavs would be a top 4 seed going into the season?
Well, we could go to our predictions. I will go to that now.
I bet neither of us predicted them over 4. I think top 4, fourth of them highest.
I will bet that I picked them 4th.
Okay, I bet I predicted them 5th.
I picked them. Where the hell?
I was surprised you were able to pull this up so fast. I assume once we discuss this stuff, just goes away.
There's no way I did this correctly.
What?
I have them 14th. There's no way. That must be a mistake. That must have been a mistake.
You had them 14th?
Yeah, that has.
Did you have them trading Donovan Mitchell mid-season?
Wait, you have them 13th. What happened? Is that this season?
Did you reverse? Are you looking the opposite way?
No.
I don't think either of us had 13th or 14th. That doesn't make sense either.
No, it doesn't. This must be from a different year. It says 24-25. I must have just posted like a prior year's posting or something. Yeah, no, because we have like Phoenix first and Utah. I must
Jay's
accidentally,
like, we have Richie Guerin for MVP. I'm not sure if we got this right.
I must have accidentally posted one from like years ago because I used the same like format.
Okay. What did we have? Who do we have? Who were our top four in the East?
Oh, here we go. I had Cleveland third. You had Cleveland eighth.
Oh, okay. I might not win this one.
Well, I'm definitely not going to win it either. I had Boston, New York, Cleveland. So I just had Cleveland flipped.
What did I have? I had Boston. I had the Knicks, Boston. What did I have?
You had Boston, Knicks, Orlando.
Orlando. Yeah, I thought Orlando would have a sneaky good season, and they were for a while.
They were. They had a
It
bunch
falls
of
off
injuries. Apparently, they can't win with Paolo, which is.
I mean,
weird.
they got their best player back, and they've been done worse since.
Their record on with and without Paolo is odd. It's very odd.
Right. Like, he's their best player. You'd think you would get better when he's back.
We did a really good job, except for Detroit.
Detroit's a big surprise, right?
Yeah, we both had Detroit like 14th.
Okay. So Detroit might not be 14th.
And neither of us were that high on Philly. I had them fifth, you had them sixth, but they're way worse than that.
I'm closer, but with going over.
I mean, we thought that they would have injury issues, but not. I mean, they're losing with everybody too.
Yeah. They're losing with everyone. I think they're in for a pretty brutal future ahead.
I mean, Paul George went 1 for 7 with 2 points in 34 minutes the last game. And his extension hasn't kicked in yet.
Yes. And he's the healthy one compared to Embiid.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird team because you have Embiid and Paul George, which will just be like anchors keeping this team like near the middle of the bottom of the East. But then you have like Tyrese Maxey's having a great season.
And McCain was before he went down too. But
yeah, they have some pieces.
But they have about 60% of their cap going to PG and Embiid for the next 4 years. So I'm loving it.
That and the go back to Knicks in 1 second, but Brandon Ingram got $40 million a year over the next 3 years, $120 million, and the Raptors now are paying $40 million to Ingram next season, $30 million to RJ, $30 million to IQ, about $40 million to what's his name?
Barnes.
Scotty Barnes, and $20 million to Pirtle.
That's the whole cap. That's it.
That's the entire cap. They built the roster going absolutely nowhere and gone all in on it.
I think they 4 players are falling off the books, and they still only have like $6 million to fill in like 5 roster spots next season.
Right. It's like a team that said like, all we have to do we just have to make the play in, and we can have a parade.
We make the play in, and then anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Once we're in the play-in, it's like March Madness, except it's not.
Right. It's like March Madness, except the 8th seed always loses.
Always loses. The teams in the play-in will never go anywhere. Yes, but okay, the Raptors, they're doing it. They the other night they had everyone healthy. They had IQ, RJ, and Scotty Barnes all healthy. It was shocking.
Yep. So, congrats to them.
But going back to the Knicks, so the Celtics, bad loss. Is what it is. We got a question actually related to this. There was a question. Find the question. We were asked. Daniel wrote, "What are our thoughts on Celtics analyst Scalabrini's comments?" And Scalabrini said something like the Knicks. Let me find the actual comment from him. He said that. Goddamn, where's the goddamn comment? He said, Scalabrini said, goddamn, if you're the Knicks, it all comes down to crashing down. You're reminded once again that you are just not at the same level.
I mean, he's a notorious Celtics homer, so.
Yeah, but I mean, forgetting the fact he's a Celtics homer, the Celtics play. I mean, it could be Larry goddamn Bird. What do you think about the comments? Are the Knicks really not on the Celtics level? Or are these just 2 losses?
They're just 2 losses. I mean, they were both bad losses, but like I said earlier in the show, they haven't seen the Knicks' full squad yet. So I'm reserving all judgment until I see them play the Knicks with Mitch. I really think it changes the whole dynamic of the team.
It's always I mean, there are plenty of examples of the Knicks being the Celtics in the regular season and not being as good a team. There's the example from a few years back when the Knicks dominated the Hawks 4-0 in the regular season and then lost them in the playoffs. Regular season and playoffs are different.
Yes. Also, not having a full roster and having a full roster are different. So everyone freaking out, I think they're forgetting, because it's been a while, how impactful Mitch is. I think they really are.
They were asking Josh Hart about the Knicks record, and he was commenting. He's like, yeah, we had a great season, but there are still a few, like at least a few that we should have won. Mm-hmm. Which is nice to also like acknowledge that like the Knicks, despite the great record they have, they could be doing better. The Knicks are good; they're getting better. Like we're going into the playoffs. We should get to play the Celtics. It's going to be an interesting matchup. We got to get to past the first round, but the Knicks should definitely get past the first round.
So the next 5 games after the All-Star break are home against Chicago, away against Cleveland, away against Boston, home against Philly, and away against Memphis. Now, what do you predict their record will be in that 5-game span?
Oh, they don't lose a game.
Okay. Well, then Phil Jackson considers the Knicks a contender. His theory is that you have to get 40 wins before you get 20 losses to be a real contender. And the Knicks would have to go 4-1 in that span to do that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable the Knicks get there. It's a tough... The Knicks have the second hardest schedule for the remainder of the season. But, I mean, the Knicks can go 500 the rest of the way and win 50 games.
Yeah.
Also, what's the most important thing here? Getting the most wins or getting a relatively healthy team to the playoffs?
I'd rather get a healthy team to the playoffs. I still think they're going to finish third, like, pretty much no matter what. So, get healthy. You know, maybe get that second seed so you get home court in the second round.
Would be nice, but
that's why that game against Boston's a big game. They have 2 games against Boston going the rest of the way, and winning both of those, they might get that 2 seed.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, they got right now. The season ended today. The Knicks will play the Pistons first round. Pistons have given the Knicks some problems this year, but I would be shocked if the Knicks can't beat Pistons in the first round.
Yeah, agreed.
And we'll see what happens. I mean, Orlando, Heat, Milwaukee could fall. Who knows? It's going to be an interesting rest of the way.
I am just getting a fantasy update, and Gobert is now injured. I have 7 injured guys on my roster.
That's a lot of injured guys in your roster.
Every team is decimated right now. It's like everyone. The other guy in my league has 9 injured guys.
When are the playoffs?
There's 3 more regular season weeks after All-Star break, and then playoffs.
Okay, well, hopefully everyone's rested up with the All-Star break. I mean, everyone's got to be ready to perform for Jay's team.
I mean, I think a lot of this is just if you have anything you're taking off this week because it just extends your break.
Yeah, I think teams are also like, if a guy's hurting a little bit, let's give him the full week off. We can throw 1 game.
I think because there's just an abnormal amount of injuries. I think a lot of teams are doing that right now. Like OG probably could have came back against Atlanta, but they're like, you know what, sit him, and then he gets 8 more days on top of that. Like, smart move.
It makes too much sense to not rest guys.
Yeah. Are you really going to sacrifice like a potential injury over 1 regular season win? Like, it's not worth it.
Okay, so the Knicks, after the Celtics, they beat the Pacers and the Hawks. Some interesting things from the games. So Towns' 3-point shot seems back.
Yeah, maybe it was either a slump or he just had to get used to his finger. Like, they basically said it's going to be painful the whole season. Maybe he just needed to get used to that, but he was
shooting like 30, I think something like 32, 33% from 3 since the injury. 7 for 10 against the Hawks. Probably feeling better now.
Yeah.
Or better enough, I guess.
Yeah. I was happy to see the Knicks beat two of their villain teams, especially the Pacers win to me was bigger just because they're more of like the Hawks are just not a threat. Even if they win, it's like, okay, they're going to be in the play-in maybe. Like,
Fair.
I can't take them really seriously. Like the Pacers, the Knicks could potentially see in the playoffs. So getting in their head and just thrashing them is fun.
Interesting part with the Pacers game was that like Brunson barely played.
Yeah.
He got 5 fouls, some questionable fouls, but he got a lot of fouls really early on. He played only 20 plus minutes. He came in like towards the end of the game to come back, but like it basically resulted in Campaign playing like 24 minutes, Shamet playing 9. The bench got used a lot.
Great Champagne minutes that game. They were both very impressive.
Yeah, they both were really good. McBride had a great game. The guys really stepped up in Brunson's absence, and also it helped that Towns went for 40. He's the first Knick since Patrick Ewing's, or maybe the second Knick ever to go 40 and 10 in back-to-back nights.
He's also took the lead for Knicks centers for threes.
All time or in a season?
All time in 48 games.
Okay, so do you have who was second?
Yeah, you'll never guess.
Okay, so it's not Porzingis?
No, the Knicks played him 3 games ago.
The Knicks what?
Played against this player 3 games ago.
A Cornet?
Yep.
He was the Knicks all-time leader for 3-point. Was he on the Knicks for like a season?
Yeah, but I mean, how many shooting centers have the Knicks ever had? Like, none, really.
Do you think Patrick Ewing, if he played in this era, would be a three-point threat? Because I think he would have been a pretty good three-point shooter.
Probably. I mean, he was like one step inside the baseline for all his shots. So if he took one step back, he would have been, I'm sure he could have done that.
He was a pretty good shooter. Like he took
shooter.
a lot of long like twos. Like he definitely could have been like a Brook Lopez type, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. A Brook Lopez from 3, but much better under the paint.
Yes, a much more dominating big man on both sides of the ball. I think I just thought of like trying to think of like a 3-point shooter that like seems comparable. I guess I don't know.
Started off like not shooting threes and then just made that his career.
Yeah. Like a guy exactly. A guy who was like a good shooter that stepped back, basically.
Some people have been really hard on Precious. I think he's been awesome lately.
He has one. He's probably his best game of the season against the Hawks.
Maybe in his career, yeah.
That was he stepped up. I mean, like he's getting a lot more minutes lately with OG being out, and not that you want him. You obviously prefer to have OG back, but he's looked great. He's really like stepped up his game. He's become a much. First of all, he was 12 for 16 against the Hawks, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But he's got some moves around the basket. He's like got some touch around the rim. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah. No, he's been nice. He's not perfect, but he's as a backup.
Are you saying he's not perfect? How dare you say he's not perfect, Jay?
I know.
He's my precious.
I know. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to tell me that the Knicks were without OG, won 2 out of 3 games against East playoff teams, and had good showings from Payne and Shamet, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take that.
Well, I mean, like Precious. I mean, like he's not OG on the floor. He's very good, not OG on the floor. But the stat line from the game was 26 points, 8 rebounds. OG's not having a much better night.
Right.
He had a steal, 2 blocks. Like, I mean, OG, that would be a very fine performance from OG as well.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah, he's looking good. I mean, like, the Knicks, like, the Hawks game was kind of frustrating, obviously, because it was a game that looked like the Knicks should win throughout the whole time. Even kind of back and forth, you thought the Knicks would just finally finish them off. And it went to OT because the Knicks just collapsed in the last 20 seconds of the game.
Yeah, not the best.
No, the Towns inbound where he was basically like, here, take some more points, Hawks. That was a little frustrating.
It was. I thought, yeah, like you said, when they went up by like 6 or 7, I thought that was going to be like pedal to the metal time, and they would have went up double digits, and it would have been over. And thanks to MSG fighting with everybody, I could only basically just watch the box score on ESPN, and I'm watching the Hawks slowly catch back up, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? But then I looked and
in
like,
fairness, I was like Jay and I were sharing a fubu when I just told him like I'm gonna be the next game's not till the 28th. It's on MSG, so we paused it for 2 weeks.
right? Yeah, I mean, we had what 2 ESPN games and then one game.
There
we
was a
couldn't
TNT
watch.
game. Like it was just like it didn't make sense. Like it's so goddamn annoying. The Optimum thing is absurd. By the way, if you have Optimum, call them up, ask for money back. They will give you money back.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, the Knicks played well. It was I mean, Brunson hit a crazy good shot at the end of the game to win the game. It's nice when you have a guy who I've never had more confidence in another Nick at the end of the games than Brunson.
His clutch stats are off the charts. So, remember when ESPN said that Philly had 3 players on its roster better than Brunson, and it turns out Brunson's like a top 10 player in the whole NBA.
Oh, anything positive ever said about Philly has been now taken back.
That guy didn't take it back. He has no shame.
Okay. But you want to? Should we give out grades? It's right before the All-Star break. I feel like the grades will be pretty fast segment. But I feel like we should kind of do that. It's mid-season, not really, but kind of. Okay, what do you give Brunson for this season?
Oh, by the way, Brunson has the most clutch field goal makes in the East at 34, and at the highest field goal percentage, 53%.
He is so goddamn good at the end of so not the end of like every once in a while he does things that annoy you, but generally he is goddamn awesome.
Yep. Okay.
By the way, I was listening to the roommates podcast, and they discussed like the recent trades, and Josh Hart was just like, he's like, I was annoyed by the Doncic trade because why could they done it a few hours earlier? That way, Max Christie went to play against us. The Lakers have been down about losing Anthony Davis. It could have helped us. Just make the trade happen a little earlier. Okay, so what grade would you give Jalen Brunson?
An A.
Okay, well, why are you not giving him an A plus? Please explain.
I want to motivate him to take a step up.
Okay, you can earn that. You can earn that, Brunson. You can get to an A plus. You got to work a little harder in your game to get to an A plus. Okay. Okay. Carl, I'm gonna say Brunson. If we're talking about motivation, I'll give you an F, and that way you have to really earn it. But I'm probably giving you an A plus. Okay. Been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns, who I was not excited when the trade was announced. I was so wrong. What grade do you give Towns?
A minus.
Are you for his defense?
Yeah, a little bit on the defense, a little bit on the fouls, although some of them I would argue are just cheesy. But yeah,
I give him an A. Mm-hmm. He's been really, I mean, overall he's been really great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the defense hasn't early on. The defense was driving me a little crazy. He's looked a little better on defense. All in all, he brings so much to the floor. I know he plays through pain, drives to the rim. I love what he brings. Giving a solid A.
He fits in with the team well, and
yeah, his passing has been great.
And when Mitch is back, he won't have his defense stand out as much.
Yeah, I really want to see what it looks like with Mitch next to him. But I am growing fonder and fonder of of the Knicks' all-time greatest three-point shooting center. Okay, next up, Josh Hart. What grade do you give him? And remember, you can use as many pluses as you want.
Yeah, that's just A plus right there.
Yeah, Josh Hart. Holy shit, he's been great. Okay, moving on. Mikal Bridges.
I'm gonna say B plus.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He had some cold streaks, but overall he's been very good.
Yeah. Overall, like all the stuff worried about, he forgot how to shoot. That's all like stupid stuff that came out early in the season. He's been generally really good. Some nights he's better than others. His defense, sometimes he's awesome. Sometimes he's like okay on defense. Generally, he's been a very good player.
Yeah.
Okay, OG.
I'm gonna give probably an A minus.
I think I would do a B plus also. I think sometimes he's been really good, but he's had stretches where he hasn't contributed, hasn't been quite as good on off. I think his offense has been like hot and cold.
Agreed. It's just he's such a difference maker on defense, and the Knicks have so much offense. It's not really a necessity. So, yeah, that's why I give it.
Yeah, I still want a little more from him some nights on offense, but he's been and actually like he's been playing a lot prior to the injury. He was playing a lot better on offense. Generally, goddamn awesome. Fine, A-. You won me over, Jay. You won me over. Okay, who am I missing on the starters? We get all the starters?
Yeah.
Okay. Precious.
Precious, I'm gonna say A-.
B plus.
I'm just going by expectations. Like,
I'm not comparing him to Michael Jordan,
Right.
but yeah, I just meant like yeah, based on expectations, I still give him a B plus. He's been very good, but like I mean, like he could be better at times. He's coming on a lot lately, but like he's been good.
yeah,
I mean, I gave Bridges a B plus. I think there's nothing, no harm, no like
No.
insult to Chua giving him a B
no,
plus. Also,
I'm not gonna argue over a half of a grade.
no, let's argue, Jay. Let's the rest of the show. I want to air it out with you about this. Goddamn, how could you give him an A minus, not a B plus? Okay. Campaign.
I'm gonna give Campaign a B because sometimes he's an A and sometimes he's a D, and it kind of just evens out.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good. That's pretty good. Generally, I mean, for the bench overall, the bench has been C plus.
Yeah,
Overall C plus. We're welcoming. I'm excited for TJ Warren to join this team, which I think he will at the end of February. I'm excited because we need more on the bench. So solid B for Campaign. McBride.
I'm gonna give a B plus.
I don't think he's worth a B plus. I think a B. Also,
I
he's had
just-
some like his shooting hasn't been amazing for times. Sometimes he's looked good, but he's had some solid stretches of mediocrity.
He has
He's always giving effort, but I don't know. Justify it, Jay.
I'm justifying it because his defense is. If you look at the stats of his opposing players when he's on them, his defense is he's shutting down everybody. So even though his shot has been hit or miss, he's been knocking it out of the park on defense.
His shooting numbers aren't so bad. I mean, like he's shooting 37% from three,
Yeah,
and 41% from the field. So it's overall not bad. I actually would probably his offense though. I feel like he's just.
He's in a
I'd
little
almost
bit of
give him a
slump.
B minus if not for. I think his defense brings him up to a B.
Yeah.
I've been a little disappointed by him overall this season.
Yeah. I mean, his offense comes and goes lately. He was on such a tear before, and now it's like hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I'm a little less confident than I had. I mean, it's also that there's so much. Like, if we had one more option that was better than him on the bench, he would look. Like, I think there's a little bit too much pressure to him on the bench.
Yeah.
Like, you're our big scorer from the bench, and he's like, I'm a good player, but I might need a little more help here.
No, you're Jamal Crawford.
You're Jamal Crawford. Okay, Shamit, and he hasn't been playing. He hasn't been on the team that long, but
Yeah, I'm gonna give a C. He's had a couple of good games. He's had a couple invisible games. On the other hand, when you play 6 minutes a game, it's hard to.
yeah.
show
I mean,
up.
his defense has been a little better than expected. It's really the bench overall is a C plus. It's giving you barely enough. I didn't even realize the Knicks actually have DeLon Wright on the roster.
Yeah.
I just assumed I never thought. I just assumed they cut him, but I guess they never cut him.
Not yet.
Okay. But we'll have to add the fact that DeLon Wright's on the roster to our 18-part documentary on the career of Jericho Sims on the Knicks.
Yes.
Okay, that's a very important documentary. We got to really update that, Jay. I
Almost
heard the first episode was dropped. It was our most downloaded ever episode.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, look for that. The Lives and Times of Jericho Sims by the New York Knicks podcast. It's an 18-part podcast, a documentary, and a movie's coming out this summer
On Tubi.
on Tubi. Everyone else on the bench is incomplete, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, and Tibbs, who can't coach offense, can only coach defense. By the way, where do you think the Knicks rank? Okay, we're on the offensive defensive rating. Where are the Knicks offensive rating?
3.
Number 2 in the NBA, just behind Cleveland and just ahead of Denver.
That's pretty good.
And where are they in defensive rating?
18.
Exactly 18. Just behind the Lakers and just ahead of the Sacramento Kings. And where are they net rating, which is probably the most important?
9.
Fifth.
All right.
Yeah, it's OKC, Cleveland, Boston, Memphis, and then the Knicks, and Denver's right behind them.
Excellent.
But net rating, I mean, like, probably the most important. Probably if you're giving up a lot of they gave up 100. They gave up a lot of points to Atlanta, but they won the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're scoring more points than your opponent. That's the point.
We are nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. We got an email from Sam. Says, hey
Yeah,
guys, this is after the Celtics game, so this might be a hot take, but I'd rather have iHeart than Cat on this team. Cat is great and an MVP candidate, but iHeart is a better screener for Brunson, better offensive rebounder, defender. I think if you put a small forward on iHeart, he can exploit it better than Cat. In no world should a Tatum, Dillon Brooks, or Finney-Smith stop a 7-footer from scoring in the paint. Well, I will say that it's definitely a hot take.
Yeah. Would you trade iHeart and Cat for iHeart? Is basically the question. If it was just straight up forgetting the salaries, would you do that trade? It'd be really interesting to bring that team back. Cat's a better player. I mean, Cat's clearly a better player, and Cat's a better. I'd rather have Cat than iHeart. But even discuss this shows how much iHeart meant for this team.
Yeah, I mean, iHeart does a lot of things that the Knicks could use, and he was a huge part of last year's success. Cat's better. I would rather have Cat. Would have been great if we could have had both, but we got CBA'd.
Yes. Apparently, you can do anything you could trade any star in the league. You could do pretty much anything besides hold on to iHeart. It's so goddamn insane that the salary cap was like. I mean, even the thing was like, I forget the machinations of this, but basically, the Knicks signed him for like 2 years, made him a better player. And then they're like, well, you can't actually keep him after you made him a better player for 2 years.
I know. It's like they got rid of basically the bird rights, which made it easier to keep players that are already on your roster. And they did this whole thing saying they wanted to stop roster turnover. Every all-star in the league got traded. So basically, once again, they just made a rule that screwed the Knicks.
We were joking before the show also that when the Knicks played the Hawks at the end of the game, Josh Hart made a little a joke at the end of the game to George Niang, whatever his name is, George Niang, on the Hawks, and it was all in jest and like they wasn't taking it any way other ways, but it happened right after the game ended, and it was almost like the refs were like, let's just call it technical here, put some time on the clock, and see if the Hawks can win this game still.
Right? Are you sure he didn't do that with 0.1 seconds left?
Yeah, I know the buzzer sounded and the game was already over, but like there's a special rule where in the Knicks we can add time on the clock for a post-game technical foul on the Knicks. See, it says here on the right in the rules. Okay. And one more question. Oh, what grade, by the way, Jay, do you give Tibbs? I'm giving Tibbs an A. I think he's done an outstanding job this season. What do you think?
I'm giving him an A-. And
Okay, so you're in the crowd that wants to fire him.
oh, totally fire. Anything below an A is a fire. No, I mean, I still think he should play the bench a few more minutes, but that's my only nitpick. And I don't think he's going nuts with the minutes. I'm not a minutes police guy. I think it's ridiculous that people think he's like burning out or injuring the players. I just think some of the bench players aren't getting into a flow because their minutes are so limited.
It's a little challenging. They asked Josh Hart was asked about this because he's been making fun of the minutes police. He was asked on ESPN about this. And he was just like, what player wants, he's like, I never want to leave the game. Why would I ever want to leave the game?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, why would you, I get guys, you can't burn guys out, but it seems like everyone's still kind of healthy.
When I was in a rec league, unless I was so physically exhausted I couldn't even function, I never wanted to get subbed out. Like, I don't know, if you're competitive, I think you just want to play the whole game.
Jay's still playing that last rec league game. He's still playing it in his head. He's never getting subbed out.
My last rec league game, I am playing in my head because I destroyed my ankle and could never play again.
That's rough, actually. Paul writes, can we have Hart sub for Towns in the All-Star game? Deserves it, and please get Cat some rest. I love that idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love Towns. I would love Towns to just take the All-Star game off and not just get the rest. You got the nod, and Josh Hart is way more deserving than Trae Young to be in the All-Star game.
Or maybe they should just be like, "Oh, you just shot 11 for 29 and had 8 turnovers. Sorry, we forgot you stunk, and we're gonna put Hart in instead of you, Trae. Go back home."
Trae Young is not an All-Star. Come on.
He's
I know he's good and all that, but like
he's got amazing court vision. He's a great passer, but
great passer.
I think his scoring is overrated. If you look at his field goal percentage, it's terrible, and he turns the ball over a lot. So
It's just like he's a really good chucker, but he's a chucker.
did you notice in the Atlanta game, instead of exploiting the pick and roll and attacking Trae, which Brunson easily could have scored on, he turned down a couple pick and rolls to go right at Daniels because Daniels was talking trash about shutting Brunson down. And so Brunson went at him all game and scored over 30 points.
Daniels is also really good. I don't know what the hell the Pelicans were doing when they were like, ooh, let's get rid of Dyson Daniels and get DeJounte Murray, who hasn't played defense in 3 years.
I think they were looking at he was an all-star. They have Zion and Ingram and CJ, and I think they thought like they were a win now team, and then everybody either got injured or underperformed, and they're like one of the
Teams
worst
get wrapped up into this like you all-star. This guy's a good player. This guy's not like. Sometimes the difference isn't as dramatic. Like it's like going like, oh, we'll be really good if we get Paul George or Jimmy Butler. See how those work out.
I think once a player gets a rep, it takes a long time for a player to lose that rep.
Okay, so we're running out of time, but we are going to do a little bit here. So we've been doing under overs this season. We're so on it. Actually, the Knicks might go over the under over. But we're going to do a little bet against each other, a burger bet. Winner buys the other one a burger. But we're going to see who is better at picking under overs at this point forward. So it's basically Vegas keeps updating the under overs, or the apps at least keep updating the under overs. We're each going to pick 4 teams under over, and we're going to see who does better throughout the rest of the season.
Yes.
It's Mark versus Jay, the final contest.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
You can go first, Jay.
Okay.
Actually, I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. What's the over for the Pistons?
Pistons over is 41.5.
I am going to take the over. The Pistons are playing pretty well. They're going to get 42 wins. Lock me in, Jay.
Okay, you're in.
And we can't. And we made the rule that you can't pick the same team.
Right.
So
that is
I know
off
Jay
the
wants to
board.
copy all my teams. So
I am going to.
in fairness, hang on, one thing I'll say is you can't take the same. Like if you want to take the Pistons to go under, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take the same bet basically.
Okay. So I am going to take Denver over 52.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've been playing really good lately. They would
Yeah, I
have
mean,
to
I guess
go-
they have to win. They don't have to play crazy ball to get there.
No, they would have to win 17 games. 17 and like 13. They could do that.
What's the Phoenix number?
Phoenix is 40.5.
40.5. It seems like Phoenix should be able to go over that, right?
If you have Durant and Booker and you can't go over 40.5, blow it up.
That would be pathetic.
Which they
I'm
might do
going
anyway.
under.
You're going under.
I'm going under the Suns. Screw them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the team is going to get more and more toxic. Durant is out this summer. He's going to be just like totally like I'm done here anyway. So like doesn't even matter.
So I'm going to do something that will just make me laugh because we already won the Philly under 48.5. I am now
what is the
gonna
number?
go- I'm now going to go under Philly 32.5.
32.5.
I'm going under.
Wow. I mean,
Paul George might just stop playing.
That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one.
I mean, to win 2 bets on Philly on the under in the same season, I think is hilarious. So I'm going to do it.
Okay. What is the Laker number?
Lakers is 49.5.
Okay. And what's the That's a hard one.
Yeah.
What is the Mavericks number?
The Mavericks is where is
If they're playing right now, then it wouldn't be. The only ones that aren't going to show up are the ones playing right now.
maybe they're playing right now. I don't see it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not going to bet anyone that's playing right now. Okay. What about the Nets? The Nets were really bad when they needed to win. They're really good when they need to lose.
I guess they're playing right now too.
Well, okay, fine. The Raptors.
I guess they're playing right now too.
Okay. Well, okay. The Miami Heat. Actually, no, that might be Golden State Warriors. Are they playing now?
Good, because Miami was playing too. Wow. Yeah, I can't see like half of them now.
Yeah, anyone playing right now, they're not showing.
Yeah, Golden State's not there either. This is gonna be harder than I thought.
Okay, can you tell me a team that's on there, Jack?
You have
Oh, the Kings. What are the Kings?
nope. So you can
Cool.
pick from the Hawks, Celtics,
Okay, the Hawks.
Cavs, Spurs, Pacers.
Give me the Spurs. What's the under over the Spurs?
Spurs is
Oh, wait, are you writing this stuff down, Jack? 'Cause I'm not.
I am.
Okay.
Of course you're not writing that. Spurs is 39.5.
Okay, well, they did get De'Aaron Fox. They should be a lock to go under. They should be a lock to go over. I don't know. They haven't looked amazing so far with him. I'm gonna say they go under. The roster should be better. I think this season's gonna be like I think I'm almost ready to take the over for them for next season, but I'm gonna go under.
Okay.
So they're not gonna get the 39 wins. I'm good with that.
All right.
Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Boston.
Okay, cool. You're rooting for Immortal Emmy.
I am taking the under on 59.5.
Oh, that's a pretty good one because I kind of agree with that.
So
What's the Cavs?
Cavs is 63.5.
Okay, what's the what else we got? Give me some other options.
You got the Hawks at 37.5.
Okay.
Grizzlies at 52.5. Bucks at 46.5. New York at 54.5. Magic at 41.5.
Magic seems to be collapsing fast.
They do.
Okay, I'm gonna go under for the Magic.
They stopped playing Goga. That's why.
Yeah, that might be it. That might be it.
So you're going to go under 41.5?
Yeah, I'm gonna go under.
Okay. It's funny because the Knicks are at 54.5, which is what they were at the beginning of the season.
Right from the beginning of the season. Yeah, it's crazy.
The line
I
has
thought
not
that number
changed.
was like a little high, but now it's they're still in line.
They're on pace for 54 or 55 wins right now. So
Yeah. Who's your next one? How many have we done so far? Is this the third one?
You did 4, so you're
Okay.
done.
You're done.
Hawks. I'm thinking Hawks. That one's pretty close.
That's pretty close. 37 wins is.
Yeah. What do we got? Memphis.
Who else was left?
Memphis is left. Yeah, I think Memphis is gonna. I might go Memphis over 52.5. Wait, let me see. Milwaukee. I'm gonna go Milwaukee under 46.5.
Thought about that one.
Yeah, I feel good about that one.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I that's a solid one. That's good. Okay. Okay, we made our bets. Read them back, Jay.
You have Detroit over 41.5, Phoenix under 40.5, San Antonio under 39.5, and Orlando under 41.5.
I like the unders.
I did 3 unders also. So I have Denver over 52.5, Philly under 32.5, Boston under 59.5, and Milwaukee under 46.5.
Okay, I'm gonna crush you on this, but we're good.
All right. So
Okay.
yeah.
Are you excited for the All-Star games, Jay? What do you think of the new format? The 2 on the it's 8 teams of 8 and tournament, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't like how they have like a Rising Stars team.
Well, I think that's just a shame anyone that they like the Rising Star team's going to play the hardest because they're going to try to win, and then
Yeah.
the team playing them is going to be like, we can't lose to the Rising Star team.
I think I've lost all interest in the entire All-Star weekend.
I thought that was kind of a clever idea with the Rising Stars team. I mean, like, it's mildly, I don't know, it's more interesting what they were doing previously.
I'll tune in for the first few minutes to see if the players are actually trying. If it's going to be another just garbage game but tournament style, then I don't care.
I mean, you could have done even like teams of 5 and have 8 teams. I don't know. Shorter games. I whatever.
Thank you for the. I think we got a subscriber. Thank you.
Oh, that's what that was.
Scared the crap out of me. Came in a little bit loud. Let's come in hot.
Okay. Anyway, All-Star break. We'll be back. We are going to be off next week because I'm going to be away on vacation, and Jay does not want to do a show without me. But we'll be back the following week.
All right. So thanks for listening. Yes, we'll be back in 2 weeks. If you are watching live, stay tuned. We will be doing our other show, The Brink of Sanity, in about 5 minutes.
Jay, promote your card game.
The whole point was, yes, I should have done that.
Are you going to promote it on both shows?
Yes. So I am launching a card game called The Brink of Sanity card game, and it's a party game. If you like Cranium or Cards Against Humanity or something like that, you can have a lot of fun. It's 6 categories. A lot of stuff we do on Brink: Would You Rather's, Two Truths and a Lie, Top Fives, Pictionary, Charades, and Taboo. With Mark wrote these cards too, so it's our sense of humor. So the Kickstarter is going to launch next Tuesday, and it's going to be in the show links. And so if you want to help support the show, help fund the Kickstarter, and let's see if we can make this game happen. How was that?
That was awesome. It was amazing. I already bought the game.
I can tell
so
you
excited.
weren't even listening.
I'm just turned on by it. Like I'm like, oh my God, when will this party game? I want to have a party.
So we are at NY Knicks Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. And we will see you all next week. Again, if you're listening live, stay tuned. We're going to do Brink in 5 minutes.
Bye, bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.